welcome to the Hello Grace podcast. It's been a bit since I've been on here. Life has gotten in the way. So it's kind of brand new year. It's 2020 and February 1st. And I thought I'm going to take January off and start over February 1st and just make it happen, I guess, this year. So anyways, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Sarah Stevens. Welcome to the Hello Grace podcast. So it's kind of a podcast where we talk a little bit about grace, sometimes a little bit about me, and a whole lot about Wool and the projects that I'm working on. So yeah, I guess because it's been so long, like I should probably touch base on who I am, introduce myself, so to speak. I am not wearing makeup today. This is just me. Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to wear makeup. So anyways, felt like I had something on my tooth, but I did not. Anyways, I am coming to you from Spokane, Washington. I am on the east side of Washington state, basically. I have 3 kids, a wonderful husband who puts up with me bringing home and rescuing way too many pets. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, a lizard. So our house is busy, our house is full. This is actually the cleanest my house has been in a really long time. So yeah, I actually swung my chair over because it is the worst day outside. It's raining and the wind is going insane, but it's like the perfect lighting. So I swung my little chair over here and I'm practically podcasting in the hallway. But whatever. Anyways, I do have a 9-to-5 job that I go to work away from home every single day. I did dye yarn. I do have a yarn dyeing business, Graceland Wool. I am taking the entire year off as of right now. As of right now, I'm taking the entire year off from dyeing yarn. It was a really big decision to make. It could very well have completely hurt my business, but the reality was this year I have chosen to really work on me. I have missed me. I missed me last year and I was really fighting to get back to me. And the business thing got in the way, and as much as I wanted it to all work out, it didn't. Like, I was stressed all of the time. I self-imposed stress. And so I thought, you know what? I'm taking a year off, guys. So it's been great. I've been knitting up a storm. I published a couple patterns. I have a new pattern coming out. I'm gonna talk to you about it. I'm hoping to get it out Monday or Tuesday, but the reality is I do want to have it out next week because there was this amazing fun knit along that I was a part of, and it's still going. It's year long. And anyways, gosh, I'm on a tangent. I feel like these last 4 minutes have been so scattered and all over the place. So, welcome. Welcome here. Go grab a cup of coffee or whatever your beverage of choice is. I'm drinking some Earl Grey tea right now, and join me. We're gonna talk about all the good stuff. So, okay. I have like so much stuff surrounding me right now, but let's start with socks. January, I had this great idea. My friend Stephanie of she's Hot Pink Socks on Ravelry and Instagram. I think she's Hot Pink Socks on Instagram too. Maybe she's not. Oh, for Pete's sake. Anyways, she's hosting this year-long knit-along, and it is, you know, I think she goes by the Rusted Stitch on Instagram. Yeah, and I think it's Hot Pink Socks on Ravelry. Correct me, friends, if I am completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is it. Okay, so anyways, she decided to do this really fun year-long gift-along, sock gift-along. And each month, she is featuring a different designer. And if you use any of the yarn from that designer, not yarn, if you knit any of those designers' patterns in that month, you get 2 entries, but you don't have to knit their stuff. You can knit whatever you'd like and post it in there, and you get an entry. So I thought, okay, this is my grand plan. I'm gonna go get myself a basket, and I am going to spend, and I did spend New Year's Eve day, and it took me like an hour and a half, mostly because I'm probably the slowest yarn winder in the history of yarn winding. But I caked up 12 skeins of yarn, caked them all up, and I was ready to go. So that way on January 1st, I could cast onto my pair of socks, and I would have this whole bin. So I went through all of my stash and I pulled out 12 skeins. Some of them were, you know, ones that had been in my stash forever. Some were ones that were newer. Some were ones that I was like, there's nothing else I'm going to knit with this but a pair of socks. And some were like, why did I ever buy that skein of yarn? It's not in my wheelhouse anymore. But I need to knit it, right? I'm gonna knit with it. I loved it at one time. It is still a beautiful skein of yarn. It's just not in my wheelhouse anymore. So I caked them all up, and I bought this most amazing metal basket. And I put them all in here. And I was like, come January 1st, February, March, April, May, June, whatever, on the 1st of the month, I'm gonna pull a skein out, and that is gonna be the skein that I'm gonna cast onto. So I did that. January 1st, I pulled out a skein of yarn. Actually, it was like just one of the top ones, but it kind of felt wintry to me. And I cast onto a pair of socks. This is my new sock design. It's just super fun. It actually just reminded me of snow and ice and Frozen. Haven't named it yet. I'm still working on a name, but the pattern is pretty much all the way written up, and it will be released this week. It is knit cuff down. I used 2.0 millimeter DPNs. I prefer the Knitter's Pride Carbons. I like that little extra grip, but I mean, whatever needle of choice, they're just knit cuff down. And I do not have the yarn band for this, but I remember that this is the Princess Bride colorway, which I love. And this skein of yarn was gifted to me years ago. So it was really fun to knit this up. It was such a joy. It was a different base than what I'm used to. I want to say it was an 80-20. But it is not like the typical 80-20 that most dyers use. Yeah. Actually, the only other dyer that I have ever seen have a base similar to this was No Makers. They had a very similar base, so I don't know. So anyways, I got this pair off the needles in like 4 days. It was pretty awesome. So then I wasn't really ready to work on anything else that I had going. And I thought, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna cast onto another pair of socks. And it was so great because like I said, had all of these skeins to pick from. And so I did just that. I turned on one of my favorite Netflix series. It's Anne with an E, and I love that series. It's based off of the Anne of Green Gables book. And so I watched the new season up on that over the course of the weekend, and happened to finish this pair of socks, which this is the Yarn at Home Mom yarn, and this is the Anne of Green Gables skein. Yeah. So it's beautiful. It is this most amazing sky grayish blue with greens and rusts and browns, and it's just gorgeous. And I just knit this cuff down. This is just a vanilla sock, just my vanilla sock pattern, just knit cuff down instead of toe up, which people have been asking for that. I think I'm gonna write my just another vanilla sock pattern with a cuff down version as well. Right now it's just written as toe up, but I knit when I first started knitting, I knit all of my socks toe up. But then I don't know what happened over the course of maybe the last 4 or 5 years. I started knitting them cuff down, and I love it. Mostly because I have really loved knitting my socks with DPNs. I actually do not really like knitting socks with magic loop anymore at all. So there you are. But I got them done, and I love the way they turned out. So here's that. After I finished these, I worked on one of my oldest friends. We've been friends for 31 years, is having a baby. And so, her first baby, they're so excited about it. And so I knit up a sweater. It was a Tin Can Knits pattern. I was just about to grab my phone, which I'm recording on right now, and look it up. But shoot, you're all screaming at me right now, especially if you saw my post. It's this beautiful raglan top. No, it was not knit top down. It was knit bottom up sweater, and there's a cardigan of it, and it has the antler pullover. That was too much work. I knit that in a skein of 3 Irish girls, and it's like their Paris night or something. Eiffel Tower, that's what it is. Eiffel Tower colorway. I had a single skein of Adorn back when they used to have Adorn sock yarn, and I just held it double, and it worked perfect. So I knit the newborn size of that, and I wish I had it to show you, but I do have a picture, so it's not a great picture. At the end of this video, I'll tack that on so you guys can see what it looked like, but I got that done. I knit that in like 3 days. 1, it's a newborn size, but 2, I kind of couldn't decide on what I wanted to knit for her until it was like last minute. And I literally got it done and blocked on like the day before, like Saturday. I think I started it on Thursday, and Thursday night I did the sleeves and like part of the body. Friday I did like more of the body or something like that. Maybe it was Friday and Saturday. I don't know. Either way, that thing flew off my needles, and it blocked all day Saturday. And it was the cutest thing ever. That pattern was so much fun to knit. Highly recommend it. Okay, so after that, I decided I was going to cast onto yet another one of my 12 caked skeins. So at this point, I only have 9 more skeins left in my bin. And I'm just gonna keep going with it. And then at some point, if I run out of skeins, I'll find 12 more and cake them up. I think this system works really, really well for me. But I cast onto a skein of my dear friend Dana of Unwind Yarn Company, of her yarn. And it's the overhead sidewalks colorway. And I'm pretty confident that is a Shel Silverstein reference. I could be wrong, but that's honestly what I think about. So I have one sock done. It is beautiful. I love this skein. I actually have a second skein of this, and I have the best idea. I was thinking it would be so much fun to knit 3 pairs of socks, matching ones for me and then both my girls, but have them be like a little different. Like maybe the toes are different for theirs or something. I don't know. Just, I think it would be a lot of fun. So I have one whole sock done, and then the second whole sock done, minus Kitchenering the toe. I've just got to get that done, and that will take me no time. I actually was, this morning I woke up super early. I couldn't sleep at all. And I woke up and I had a couple cups of tea, and I watched the new Taylor Swift show that came out on Netflix. It's not really a show, it's like a documentary. Miss Americana. Yeah, so anyways, I watched that and I couldn't find a darning needle, which irritated the crud out of me, but then I found it, and then I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna podcast. The house is relatively quiet. My oldest is at cheer. My 2 littles are downstairs. They were sleeping, but it's like 10 o'clock now. So if they were still sleeping, that would maybe be a problem. Oh, here's the yarn I use. Like, here's what's left of that 3 Irish Girls. And I cast onto with it because I wanted to get it done in time, but then I just didn't. I'm gonna be making these teeny tiny little newborn socks. They're so tiny. This is Tabitha Gandee, I believe is her last name. Her newborn sock pattern. She is part of the Hey Sister podcast. Awesome socks. I think she's Awesome Socks on Instagram and Ravelry. So I cast onto a pair of those, and then when baby is born, which is like in 2 weeks, she'll be induced. There's gonna be teeny tiny little matching baby socks ready for her. So I'm so excited about that. Wait, we're at like 20 minutes. Doing my best to kind of keep this relatively short, so I might not get through everything that I brought here, and if I don't, that's fine. We'll just talk about it the next podcast. No biggie. Okay, then let's talk about this. So with my scraps, I found, so I knit my mom a hat, and I knit my husband a hat, and they're both kind of like the same. He never like wears his, but she wears hers all the time. So I'm kind of thinking about like just sending her the one that I knit my husband. But I cast onto, I've knit like 3 of these blankets for people with babies. One of them was a shop sample, and then I have knit 2 other ones that have been baby gifts. But I cast onto a spiral blanket of Awesome using some scraps. And so if you can tell, this is the leftover of my vanilla socks in the Anne of Green Gables colorway. And then this skein is a skein from Dana Unwind Yarn Company, but I don't remember the colorway name. I want to say it has something to do with like meteors or something. I don't know. And now I'm working into, it's a scrappy blanket. You should look it up. Sharon, who used to be the owner of 3 Irish Girls, designed this. And so It's linked, like you can find it on Ravelry. It's a spiral blanket of awesome, and it's by Sherry McMahon. It like is spelled McMahon or whatever, but it's McMahon. You have to use the Wayback Time Machine to get there, but it links it. So awesome pattern, the best directions. I've been reading her blog forever, and I love the way that she writes. She's just so funny, and she writes her patterns like that too. I got a kick out of it. So if for anything, even if you don't want to be knitting a baby blanket, just read her intro. It's awesome. So anyways, and now I'm knitting on, this is, I used to dye yarn. I used to be the other owner, co-owner of O Loops Yarn with Lydia Brown. And we used to, we were the owners and dyers and everything. And a few years ago that changed. And so Lydia now does it by herself, and then I do Graceland wool. But when we were dyeing yarn together, I dyed up this skein of yarn, and this is the Meet the Stevens family, Meet the Stevens. And I don't remember if we actually dyed very many of these. I think we did pre-orders or something like that. And then obviously it's non-repeatable because yeah, that was way back when. So this colorway's retired. But anyways, I am adding on with that color. So I'm really excited to see how that transitions. And then I wound up another skein that I thought I might use. And yeah, there we go. This skein, I don't know who it is by. It's not one of my skeins. It was a gift skein, and I don't remember who gave it to me. Anyways, so that was another cast on, and so I plan on having those baby socks and that blanket done when baby is born, and I'm so excited about that. Okay, so many things, you guys. I have a mess going on with my projects, and I kind of realized that a while ago, that I really need to get better at focusing on projects and working through it. One of my good friends, Sarah of Sarah Craft Yarns, she also has a podcast. It's like Sarah Craft Studios or something like that. It's cutesy like that. I don't know. Anyways, she's doing this method with her knitting this year, and I like it, but I'm not sure how I would do with tracking it. And so she knits on one project for 12 hours. Like, she clocks it, how long she's been knitting on that project, and when she hits 12 hours, she kind of hopes to either be done with it or she switches to another project, and then that project goes at the bottom of the rotation. And the idea is that you work your way through all of your languishing whips, right? But you also are allowing yourself to cast on to something new if you want to, but you only get 12 hours worth of time to work on it, and then you need to go back to something else. And I kind of like that idea because it forces you to get things done, but like I said, I am terrible at keeping track of things, and I'm pretty sure I would not keep track of it. But anyways, so I found these socks. It's just bananas. I wrote this pattern up. I can't remember what I named it. It was like Autumn Rising, I think. Autumn Rising socks, and it is knit cuff down in the round. Has, charts and color work, and this really pretty ribbed bottom and different toe. And then I found out, oh my gosh, I never knit the second sock. So I got like partway through, and then I'm starting on the ribbing. So the plan for me is that this is kind of one of the next socks that I'm gonna try and get off the needles. But because it took me so long to knit these two, my gauge is so off. Look at this. There's like a huge gap. Like this one is so tight and this one is not. Maybe it'll block out. Maybe it's hopeless. I don't know. I'm gonna get them done. I'm gonna hope that one of my kids will be able to fit into them and be able to utilize them. Otherwise, I just have some really beautiful socks that will never be worn. I guess that's not so terribly bad, but that was not what I was intending. Okay, so then I found yet another sock whip. And this is this skein of yarn that I dyed. Oh my God. And it still smells so good. Okay, anyways, love this. I got part of a sock done and I'm using some leftover hedgehog to do the heel. And then I found some leftover 3 Irish Girls and I'm gonna do the toe. And I'm gonna have a pair of really sweet socks. I typically don't like changing too many colors on my socks, like blocking them out like that, because then it's more ends to weave in. Because I'm lazy. But I'm doing it. I'm getting through it and loving it, actually. Okay. Then I went through my closet and you guys will never believe what I found. It's so stupid. One, I found where all my needles have been. But I also found another sock whip. I'm pretty confident I started these in like May or even before then when I was dreaming of spring weather last year. And this is Hedgehog Fibers in the Pesto colorway. I have one sock done. I have sock number 2, like seriously, I'm pretty sure I'm at the point where I maybe have like 10 rows or something. Or no, I think I'm legitimately at the toe decreases. So stupid. So another sock whip that needs to be off my needles. But not just one sock was in that bag. This is a super cute Suburban Stitcher bag, by the way. Like I haven't shown any of my bags. One of them, 2, 3 of them are Sugar Tots bags that I like love, absolutely love. One is this very old one of Molly's original homespun house bags. Love this bag too. So anyways, found in here another skein of yarn with a sock attached to it and a sock that is like partially done for a little kiddo. So here we are. It's Knit Magic Loop, I'm assuming, because I couldn't find my other needles, or they were all being used at the time because I have a serious sock problem apparently last year. Whatever. Anyways, this beautiful yarn is from Kayla of Whips on Sticks. Whips on Sticks is now no longer. She has this new cute name. She's only doing charms. She's not dyeing yarn anymore. I'm not giving you any good information. I will do my best to link her in notes if I do show notes. Kayla, if you're watching this, please put your handle in the notes section. Anyways, so that needs to be done. Yeah. Okay. I have 2 more things to show you. We're at 30 minutes. I think I have enough time so that way we don't run super long. But I have 2 sweater projects that I'm picking back up. I've said I'm picking them back up in the past and then I never did. Once because I lost them, and then twice because I was just not in the mood to knit color work. And now there is no way that I am not gonna have these stinking things not done so that way I can wear them at least for spring. Like, so stupid. Okay, so oh my God, look at this. This is just beautiful. It's just so sad that it's been on my needles for ever. This is a Caitlin Hunter pattern. This is the Guthrie sweater. I'm through the hard part too. Like all I have is sleeves and the body. This is so stupid. It is a beautiful colorwork sweater. Like all of her colorwork patterns and all of her patterns, period. I mean, they're just incredible. I need this in my life. I needed this 2 years ago when I started it, if we're being completely honest. And I am using Malabrigo Rios in the Papyrus colorway. That's my main color. And then the Primavera color is my contrast color. Yeah, friends, I love Rios. I love Rios for sweaters. When it's a really affordable option, I mean, most skeins are like 14, 15 bucks. So for me, who is a little bit bigger of a girl, I can get quite a bit of sweater out of. That is the wind, and it is just whipping through. I think we're supposed to have like something crazy, like 40+ mile-an-hour winds. I mean, that's gotta be like 60 mile-an-hour winds. I act like I even know what I'm talking about. It's really windy. So that is finished, or getting finished this year. No excuses. The last sweater that I have going right now, is an old bag. Stephanie from Stitch Marks the Spot. I don't even know if she's making bags anymore. She made this bag specially for me. She said it reminded her of me, which I love. It's comic books and My Little Ponies, and it kind of speaks to my geeky comic book heart. I do love me some DC Comics. I love Marvel too. I love DC, I love Marvel. I really kind of love them both. And I do love My Little Ponies. Like that, hello, I was born in the 80s. Like, My Little Ponies was a staple in my life. Anyways, I cast on to not forever ago, it was September. I planned on getting this Swancho done so I could wear it on the plane when I went to go visit my mom. That did not happen. Trying to find a pattern page that does not have any of her charts on it. Here we are. It's another Caitlin Hunter pattern. So cute. I'm making a very large size of it. I just picture being able to wear this honestly for soccer, and just still feel semi put together but super warm. So yeah, I'm using, I mean, I don't even know where I'm at in this pattern. Like, that's how ridiculously bad it is. I'm gonna have to figure that out when I go to pick this up. But here we are. It's still so beautiful. I'm using some gray that I dyed. I'm using some more Malabrigo Rios in this beautiful olivey kind of color. Don't know what the name is. This is some Madeline Tosh. I knit my daughter a sweater and I had some leftovers. I don't remember if this is all the leftovers I have or if I have more. Part of me feels like I have one more skein. I think I have one more skein of each of these. And I know I have one more skein of these, and I'm holding this double. This was lace dyed eggs on my 80/20 base. It has like these pops of green. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Pops of green in it and blue. So it kind of matches. So here we are. That's where I'm at. I mean, I don't know where I'm at, but that's where I'm at. So there you are, guys. That's everything I've been working on or not working on in a nutshell. I did not do a make 9 this year. I'm not going to do make 9s. Every time I do a make 9, I never do it. I never get it done. I might knit 1 or 2, but my interests change through the year. Like, you know, 3 months in, I might be like, yeah, kind of like those still, but now there's like 20 other patterns that have just come out and I want to knit all of those. So I'm not doing a make 9. My goal this year, as far as my knitting goes, is to get back to the part where, you know, when I started 20 years ago, and 18 years ago, if we need to be precise. When I started 18 years ago, and I was so excited because I did not have a stash. I had very little money to spend on yarn, and I had very little money to buy a pattern. So it was like a big deal, a super big deal to pick out a pattern on Ravelry, purchase it, and then go purchase the yarn to make that pattern. And then when that package came in the mail, it was like Christmas. And that is all I worked on for however long it took me. And then I would have to save up money to be able to do it again. And like Loopy U, they had this Camp Loopy, and I remember getting into that and doing that, and that was like a big deal because each month I would be buying yarn to make these projects, and it was just so exciting and thrilling and fun. I miss that fun. Like, somewhere down the line, my fun was replaced with mass amounts of self-imposed deadlines and work and obligation. And yeah, so I want to get back to that old me, that just had fun and knit whatever the heck they wanted to. But also, the responsible me needs to get her butt in gear and get through this stuff and stop creating this mess of 500 million half-done projects. That is a goal. Okay, I think I have to go because my son is needing me. So if you guys hung around for these last 37 minutes, thanks so much. If you like this podcast, it would be super helpful if you'd give it a thumbs up or comment below. I don't have a drawing. I would love to know if you could change anything, what would you change about this podcast? How often should I podcast? How long should I podcast? Is there a better day for everybody? You know, I don't know. Let's like start fresh and do this together. So that's my goal. So I don't have any fun, catchy little phrase other than happy knitting, and enjoy your time until we meet again, and peace out.